I'm going to show you today is just an example. If I needed to make a tulle skirt on the fly, and I really just didn't have, I needed the bare minimum materials. Tulle, some form of ribbon, preferably an actual ribbon, but in this case, you make do with what you got, and scissors. Literally, that's like the basic, bare minimum, all you really need. I mean, you can get fancy and add things that'll make it a little easier, but that's all you need if you want a basic tulle skirt. Also, just to prove that people can make stuff without official, measuring supplies and things like that, I'm not touching a measuring tape for this. I'm not touching a ruler. I'm just judging it. So, let's get started, shall we? Right off the bat, you want to just get an idea of how much you really want, lengthwise. Do you want it to be to the ground? Do you want it to be mid-thigh? Do you want it to be somewhere in between? So, I have been waiting for years to use this particular tool, literal years. We bought it for a homecoming decoration. Never used it. Definitely didn't use it. So this is the tool I will be really working with, and I'll be interspersing the green, if I can actually get it open. Okay, so this is actually really beautiful. So while I take it down, you want to add extra space. So if it's this much, from here to here is from here to here, you add a little bit extra, because what you're going to be doing is you're just going to be weaving it. Not weaving it, you're going to be knotting it essentially. And so if you have extra, then when you knot it, it doesn't get shorter than you want it to. Always, from my personal opinion, it's better to do this where you have a little bit more fabric than you need instead of a little bit less fabric than you need. I'm just going to cut out same size strands. They don't have to be perfect, because this is not supposed to be perfect. This is supposed to be art. So, in my case, I've only got about 6 strands. It's beautiful, but 6 is not really going to cut it unless I wanted to make it even shorter, and then I get 12 strands. And for this case, I'm fine doing that in this case because it'll just make it simpler. But in your case, try to only get, you're probably going to need 2-3 pieces of tulle in total. And by pieces, I mean rolls. So now, I'm going to take this tool and I'm going to add to it. Typically, you want an actual workstation. My workstation has been taken over by my college work. So, I'm doing this literally on top of a mattress. Is it the smartest thing to do? No. Is it apparently the college thing to do? Yes. So, you take your ribbon, and it's probably everyone's going to want to do it around their waist, or if you want to do it around your hips, that's fine, but if you do it around your waist area, like here, then it's going to be less, you're going to need to do less, and it's also, some people really like high-waisted things. So, going around like this, it's about this long. Let's cut it here. Let's give it some extra space so that when it's time to tie it together, you're not like, ah, crap, what happened to tying it? So now, you're going to take your individual strands and you're going to weave them. And by weave, I don't know why I keep saying weave, what I really mean is knot them. So, get one up. We're gonna take some of this. But sometimes you have to take it apart so that you can make it really work for you where you are now. I would estimate that you're gonna actually need closer to 4 to 5 rolls if you want a medium length. Like if you're trying to go for the mid-thigh to the knee level, you're probably gonna want 4 to 5 rolls, because that should actually be enough, more than enough material, but it depends on your waist, it depends on how, you can do calculations, because if I'm not mistaken, they tell you,
they give you all the measurements of the actual tool, and then you can do the math to find out what you actually want, like how much, like if it's supposed to be about 24 inches, which is 2 feet, how much is that? Like, would that be 2 rolls if you wanted to do, so if you wanted to do, let's see, 24 inches, so, and the whole, let's say the whole length, if the tool was just rolled out, is like 240. So 240, 24, 10 times it would go into, so you get about 10 strands, so probably not going to get that far with 10 strands, but maybe you want to mix up the length. Maybe you want to do 20 strands that are 10 inches and 10 strands that are 20 inches and
Basically, you can figure out math if you want to, or you can guesstimate. And if you're like me and you're choosing to guesstimate for most of this, if you want a mid-size, like mid-thigh, knee, 3 to 4 rolls. More than that, you're gonna need at least 4 rolls, if not closer to 7. It really depends on how much the rolls have. Some rolls, the fancy material, is gonna have less than the simple material. So if you're going for simple, you're probably in good hands. You can probably get 3 to 4. But if you're doing a lot of fancy material, or fancier material, then you're most likely going to want a lot more than you would normally. Now that I have the basic layer, you can see a purple strand here and there, but that's just because I got a little ahead of myself. But yeah, so I have a basic layer, and now I'm going to add the other ones to it, like the purple and the silver, and of course the beautiful lace fabric. You can add however you like. You can make it, doesn't matter the layers, just so it could be by length, it could be by color. I think I'm going to try to go by color, do greens and silvers, then purples, then the fancy lace, but we'll see how it goes. Now, it's only been, I would say it's probably only been 30 minutes since I started this little project in the first place. Probably about 30-40 minutes. Now, the one thing is that I had originally intended it to be closer to the knee. It's not going to be closer to the knee. Now, for a child, someone of a much smaller stature than me, I think you could get away with, this would come out to their, this would go to their knee. And you would need you'd need a lot less tool because there's less mass, there's less body. But if you're trying to be a college student or or someone who is not about yay big by yay big, you will definitely need to compensate for that. Also, one thing that I keep forgetting in all the tulle skirts I've made through the years, try to keep it all going in one direction when you knot it. Don't try to knot it. Don't try to be clever. The fabric is going to be more clever than you. Let's just put it like that. So don't try to be oh, I'll just switch it around, because depending on what ribbon you use, it comes out looking like this, it comes out like wee, instead of all a straight line. So it's just something to keep in mind. The great thing is tulle skirts are so easy to maneuver and mess around with and have fun with, and they can be applied to so many costumes that It's okay, one, if it's not perfect. It's okay if it's not perfect. And so long as you have fun, that's the most important part. Make sure to balance out what you're doing so that it's not all long pieces at the end. And you can get nitpicky later, but it's just something to keep in mind. So it's essentially done. Now you can always add more layers, and that's one other thing to keep in mind. How much do you want for tulle? Do you want a lot of tulle? Do you want it to be like those cute DIYs on Pinterest where it's like nothing but tulle, layer upon layer upon layer? There's ways to make that possible. But this was just a simple basic skirt, and I'll actually be showing it off in just a minute. As you can tell, it needs a little work. This was more of a, I just wanted to show you it's possible, and less of a, here's a step by step by step by step by step. Though I did give you some steps. What I would recommend if this were your tulle skirt, go over, see where the layers are a little bit too much. If you like this length, but you wanted it more, you can actually, if you like the idea, you can layer it. So you can make another set as tulle skirt, longer, put it underneath this, so that it's kind of like Hermione's skirt from Goblet of Fire. As always, stay awesome.